I think I hold it. I think my gate, I done the highest gate. I think I done 70-something million, and that was less than an hour. Actually, my tickets didn't even go on sale for one of my fights, and I think we done over 70 million at the gate. Pay-per-view, I think. I don't know, over 4 million. I think
the Pacquiao won over 4 million.
I done over 4 million in pay-per-view at $100 a pop. Took less punishment than any fighter in the sport of boxing. Landed on the highest percentage than any other fighter. I don't know. I believe I made more money than any fighter. But like I said, I'm just blessed. I'm blessed way beyond belief. I feel like when I was born, I was dealt a royal flush. Trying to make my team stronger. Trying to help the people around me grow. It don't matter who the person is. The person could be a driver. I want them to be the best that they can be. I treat everybody the same. I love everybody the same. When someone around me hurts, I hurt also. Of course, we got Court's Corner that we're trying to help because she's trying to help people. She's been with me a lot lately. Of course, Bruce, my driver, he's getting his company together, and all, he getting all his drivers together. And like I said before, I'm still learning and I'm still growing, and it takes one day at a time. My videographer, James Dayup, actually used to work with Manny Pacquiao. When Manny Pacquiao, when they both went their separate ways, it was a great thing for me, because I didn't just get a great videographer, I got a great friend.
Speaking of Manny, he said something funny this week in New York. I don't know if you heard it. He said that a lot of people approach him and tell him that he won the fight against you when I maybe gave him 1 round, maybe 2. Mm-hmm. How could someone say that he beat you? I mean,
well, I tell Manny, I think that, to heal my shoulder, I should have, went swimming in salt water, like he said he did, to heal his shoulder. It's so crazy that, Manny Pacquiao fought so many fights throughout his career. Then all of a sudden he get, they made so many spoofs about Floyd Mayweather being a chicken, being scared, being a coward, and so many people, millions and millions of people around the world wanted Pacquiao and stood behind Pacquiao, and then he lost and they had something else to say. I didn't say how I was going to win. I said I will win. And that's what it's about in life. No matter how you win, as long as you win. But we take losses all the time. When a loved one is sick, that's a loss. When we lose a loved one, that's a loss. So we take loss. We all have took losses.
How come you? I'm gonna ask you, how come you never quit? So many people, no matter what they do, whether they're a musician, whether they're a basketball player or boxer, everybody has a breaking point. What kept you going during the toughest times when you were like, I'm not making the money or I'm not getting the opportunity?
I always knew I was the best. I always knew I was the best from day one. I always knew I was the best. I always knew I worked the hardest. There's always. I didn't really believe there was a limit. I think a lot of fighters put limits on themselves. I feel that whether it's an entertainer or a fighter or athlete, period, once they reach a certain point, they feel like, you know what, I made it. I made it. And I thought it was the money, but it really wasn't the money. It was the will to win. I wanted to be a part of history for my name to live on forever. So it wasn't just one thing. It was multi things that molded me and made me into the ambitious person that I am today.
Do you ever think, how would you do against Hagler, Hearns, Duran?
That wasn't my era. That just wasn't my era. And as of today, athletes are bigger, better, stronger, and faster. But how I feel against how I would have matched up with those fighters from that era, I never got tired in 12 rounds. I've never showed that I was going to break. I never showed that I was going to quit. I think that everybody in this world is an artist. Whether you're an athlete or an entertainer or you're just a regular person. It's just how are you going to paint? What is the picture that you're going to paint and the legacy that you're going to leave behind when you leave this earth? And the picture that I painted is that when it's TBE, it's just not inside the ring.
But it's
TBE outside the ring also, as far as giving back. And I don't have to tell the world that I gave back to the people that was less fortunate. As long as God know I did a good deed, that's what counts.
Floyd, you're a real positive person, and I know you never like talking negative. And one of your comments that you gave to Ben about racism in sports and in general.
Now everybody's talking about this, and I talked about this, I think a month ago. Mm-hmm. I talked about how, my team is very, very diverse, very diverse. We have, a little bit people from all walks of life, different nationalities, different race. But I speak the truth, and I would rather be hated for telling the truth than being loved for lying.
Does it bother you when your message though gets misconstrued? Because that guy Conor McGregor took what you said as offensive, and he said that he didn't want you mentioning him, or he went through some of the same stuff. I don't know if you've heard about it, but does it bother you that?
I don't really. I never said that. Once again, I never said that the guy, Conor McGregor, that's his name?
Yeah.
I never said Conor McGregor was I didn't say I had anything against Caucasians or white Americans or white people, period. Or Irish. All I said is this. In this world, racism still exists, but I'm not racist. That's all I said. And if he got offended, that's life. Sometimes people will get offended by certain things people say. Just me, I have tough skin. I'm built for anything.
But how does it feel when anything you say, anything you do, it's magnified all the time? You have to think about it sometimes
my mentality. I'm just like, it's life. Fuck it. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I speak from the heart. I speak the truth. When like I said before, I'm just waiting for somebody else to have a 20-year run or a 19-year run. Out of a 19-year run, I think I was world champion 18 years. That's never been done. In a year and a half, I fought 17 fights. I was only fighting a year before I became world champion. I was world champion from the 90s to now. We damn near, what we had, 3,000?
What I've noticed is you're not a UFC fighter. You're not an MMA fighter. But
Yes.
they keep calling you out as if you're going to step in the octagon with them tomorrow.
You know what's really, really interesting? This is something that's very, very interesting. And like I said before, we can forgive, but sometimes we never forget. When Dana White, when no one knew who Dana White was, no one knew who Dana White was. Which I remember at one particular time back in the day when they had the MMA, right? It wasn't really no weight class. People were just fighting each other. I think it was Royce Gracie. Is his name right? Mm-hmm. Royce Gracie.
They just fought till someone won. They just no rounds, nothing.
They fought to whoever tapped out or quit or whoever won. Before Dana White even came around and got with the Fertitta brothers. Dana White, the same guy, used to run around with me, hang out with me, and I treated him just like I treated anybody else in my camp. At one particular time, you go in and watch the beginning of my fights. I had a patch on my trunk, which was a Bullenbeiser dog, and I wore the Bullenbeiser patch for Dana White, a little square guy. At that particular time, I think the guy had a Honda, but I didn't judge him. If you're my friend, I love you unconditional, and I like you. I like you the same way I like everybody else that's around me. Now all of a sudden, a guy get put in a position, and it's like, the guy didn't shade his head bald and act like he just tough and rugged. And it's just that, I mean, that's not the Dana White I know. That's all I'm saying. You know, but I knew Dana White as a good guy, good square guy. You know, if I had to say so, he was a guy that went to college and didn't know anything about mixed martial arts or boxing. You know, every day he used to be around me. He used to be around my Uncle Jeff, and I treated the guy great. And that's what it is. You know, now he's I think the president of the MMA of UFC, which is a great thing.
Well, it sounds kind of silly, but I mean, when you think about boxing and what you've been able to do, and when you said you're the best, I mean, do you really feel in your heart you were born for this? There was nothing else that you were meant to do?
I don't really know, but you can really just, I mean, I think that a lot of fighters in the sport today, because I would do it too. I would go to bed every night. Every night I'm on that road, I would say to myself, I'm going to be better than Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to surpass him. I'm going to outdo him. Everything that Floyd did, I'm going to do better. But that was never my forte. You know, from the beginning, from day one, I knew I was the best. I didn't have to second guess. I didn't have to tell myself. I just knew it.
It was just the way you would be able to dominate?
It's just that I knew it once I was 17 years old, and when I used to go in the boxing gym, and nobody can beat me in the gym, and I was only probably 16 or 17 years old. No one could beat me in the gym at all. When I was 17 or 18, I was probably at my best. No one can beat me. And I wanted to turn professional at 16 years old. I think I was a professional once I reached the age of 16. I was a professional, really 15. And I was just no one could fuck with me at all. I mean, I was good. I mean, you can call it cocky, you can call it arrogant, call it what you want to call it, but I knew I was the best. And I knew in due time, I was very outspoken. And I know the more and more, but my talent always spoke for itself. Even though I was very, very outspoken, you know, I spoke my opinion, I voiced my opinion. I honestly